Hi, everybody. My name is Frank Lipsky with ModernFireInstructor.com, and I'd like to talk to you for a minute about my course, Modern Fire Instructor Bootcamp. It's going to be starting next Thursday, August 20th. Now, if you're like me and most fire instructors, you struggle with a lot of the things that we're asked to do. I want to talk real quick here about 10 of the biggest challenges that my students face and that I'm sure you deal with on some level at your department. So getting everyone to the training, obviously with the COVID and all the issues with distance learning that we're doing now, this is, bigger than ever. This was something we dealt with prior to all of the quarantine and everything, but again, it's been magnified. Consistency across the department, getting the same course delivered over 3 different shifts. Sometimes that can be a big issue. Flexibility for your members. We all know that our members want to have buy-in. They want to have sort of a part in what the training is, what we're doing with training. So it's sometimes difficult for instructors to get that buy-in from their members. Better retention of learned skills. Man, this one's a big one. There's nothing more frustrating than when we do a course and we do some hands-on training and our members are not able to recreate that with efficiency on the fireground. Also, we always look for more hands-on time. With everything we have to fit into the schedule, it's difficult to coordinate a lot of hands-on training. So choosing the right technology, and this might be, from an instructor standpoint, you have a limited budget. You want to make sure that you're getting technology that's going to benefit your members and benefit your department, but you also don't want to be wasteful or test out a bunch of different things with trial and error. Leveraging instructor time. Like I mentioned earlier, we all have a limited amount of time in the day. We're being called to do more and more things on a daily basis, and oftentimes instructors and training divisions are looking for ways to leverage their instructor time to be able to get more done with less. And we kind of touched a little bit on this one too, but budget constraints are something, when it comes to purchasing technology or equipment, or whether it's just how much hands-on training we can do. Maybe you have to pay for instructors to come in and assist you. So we're always up against the budget, it seems like. Working with other agencies, this is something that a lot of instructors struggle with. They want to be able to work with the mutual aid departments that they run calls with, but a lot of times it's difficult to do that because we're spending so much time just getting our own training done. It's difficult to get out with mutual aid companies. And then the last one here is building up new instructors. Part of our job as training officers, instructors, or senior instructors is to develop new instructors and our younger people that are coming up. And sometimes that's pretty difficult to do. So that's one of the big challenges that a lot of training officers are facing. Now, this list here that you see of 10 items that we list as the biggest challenges, certainly, maybe some pretty big ones that you're dealing with, and you might have some other things that are specific to your department. But the goal of this training program, and this is based off of the courses I've taught at FDIC on flipped learning and building an on-demand training program, and then also the online self-study type training that I've been providing for the last several years. And the training officers and instructors that have taken these courses and attended the classes have had a pretty big input into what these challenges are. And the course revolves around meeting these challenges head on. So let's go ahead and jump in and talk a little bit about the course itself. With everything going on right now with COVID, I've had a lot of requests to do a webinar-based course to where it's live. And so that's what we're going to do. I've broken the course down into 5 weeks. We have 5 separate 90-minute sessions that we'll be doing live. We'll also be recording those, so you'll have access to the recordings anytime you want to go back and review or refresh on what we talked about during the webinars. Or if you can't make it, you'll have access to that immediately after the live webinar is completed. In this program, you'll learn how to build a modern and I use this term a lot, on-demand training program. If you want to get your members plugged in, you want to meet a lot of those challenges we talked about with buy-in from the previous slides, you need to have something that's a give and take and something that doesn't take a lot of work to recreate the lesson planning as you move things around and change things day to day based on call volume and things like that. You need to have the ability as the training officer to make those changes on the fly And you also need to have the ability for your students, your members, to be able to access that stuff just as easily from a phone, a mobile device, a desktop computer, whatever the case may be. So ultimately, with this course, you're going to leave with a new plan and a layout with all the tools you need to build a modern training program or to upgrade what you currently have. Now, the tech tools that we're going to talk about are for every budget, every size. So if you're a large career department that has a larger budget and you have plenty of resources, that's great. We're going to talk about some of those high-end tools and some of the more moderate price tools. But if you happen to be an agency with a smaller budget, smaller department, maybe your volunteer or combination type department, there's also free and low-cost tools that you can use to accomplish the same thing as some of the larger departments. So we'll talk about all of that through the course and give you options for all of the different things that you can do. We're also going to have a live Q&A session at the end of each lesson. So if you have a question from the previous week or a question that we want to dive into a little bit more, I'll be staying on the call and we'll do a Q&A session on the webinar. If I need to show anything, I can show it right there on the screen. So it's going to be very interactive throughout the entire 5 weeks of the course. We're going to start in week 1 with an overview, a quick review of learning objectives, and we're going to talk about a few basic things that you probably learned in Instructor 1 or Instructor 2, but we're just going to touch at a high level on some of the things that are important, like creating a training calendar, creating lesson plans and objectives, things like that. Then we get into the core of week 1, which is creating engaging presentations. And this is everything from presentation software to what I think will be a whole new way for you to start creating presentations. And we're going to talk about making them more interactive, making the content streamlined, and then we'll also talk about just best practices as well. And so week 1 revolves around that. And then the way this works is you will be able to complete a homework assignment. If you want to follow along, you'll end up creating a presentation during week 1, and then we can critique those presentations back and forth between all the students and myself, and that'll give you a presentation that you can work from going into week 2. Now, if you're someone who doesn't have the time, you're busy, you don't have the ability right away to do that homework assignment, that's fine. You can certainly do it whenever you get a chance, and you can still follow along with the course as we go. So then we dig into week 2, and in week 2 we get into screencasting and audio capture. So this is, how do I capture my screen? How do I begin the process to start creating a video lesson? So we get into all the nuts and bolts of screencasting, how to do it, all the tools and software that you can use to do that. And because having high quality audio is so important, we do set aside a large part of this lesson for making sure that you have high quality audio on any budget. In week 3, we're going to talk about video and content hosting. So this is your typical Vimeo, YouTube, Dropbox, all the different tools that are out there. In week 4, we're going to focus on creating online documentation. This is going to be the documentation that you collect from your students when they create online quizzes. So again, we'll do these lessons, we'll have a quiz, the students can take the quiz, and then as the training officer, obviously you need to document that and you need to maintain those documents and records. We'll also get into other types of forms. We'll talk about a few other ways to create content documents. We'll talk about hyperdocs, PDF files. We kind of really dig into all the different one-off tools that are available for you to create specific documents to help augment your program. And then in week 5, we're going to take everything we've built to this point and we're going to bring all that together and actually build our working on-demand training program. So with the tools that we talk about, you'll be able to create your video content, create your lessons, your lesson plans, and then we'll make all that available on all devices. And there's a lot of ways that we can do that, again, depending on what your agency already has in place, or if you don't have anything in place at all, like a department website or a training site, there's ways that you can do that right away from this course. And when you're finished with the 5th week of the course, if you followed along, you actually could deliver a lesson out to your members on demand. So really fun in week 5, bringing all that together and really opening up what the possibilities are for you moving forward just with these skills that you've learned in this 5-week program. Now, of course, every good online training program needs to have some good bonus content. So just for this online webinar series, I've actually put in some really great bonus stuff for you. So let's take a look at that. The first thing is most of us like to use simulations that are already doing it. If you haven't started using simulations yet in your training, you need to do that because you can use it for so many different things. Command training, company officer training, after action reports, pre-planning. And so I have a course that I've been teaching for several years that is creating amazing fire simulations with SimsUShare. So what I'm doing, I'm actually giving you guys full lifetime access to the entire course. The course contains over 4.5 hours of video tutorials that walk you through how to use the software and how to build awesome simulations and use those with your department. It's going to also include a free trial version of the software that allows you to do everything that's in the course. It's a full working version, and you can do that throughout the life of the course as you go through it. And again, you'll have lifetime access to the entire course. Now, one of the other things in my previous classes is when everyone gets done, they have a lot of specific questions about their agency, and they start thinking about how they can implement a lot of these training things that we talk about. And it's really valuable for me to be able to sit down and spend 90 minutes to actually hear what a department has going on, what are some of the technical things that they need to change, or how do they want to implement stuff. And oftentimes I do these consulting calls. Again, it's a $200 fee for a 90-minute call. And what I'm going to do for this course is I'm going to provide each one of you that sign up at the end of the course. We'll be able to schedule this free one-on-one call where we can sit down and talk about your department's needs and how we can implement this training, and I'll help you lay out a roadmap to do that. And that's just kind of a special bonus I'm doing because we can't do the in-person classes, but it's going to give you that 90 minutes of access, just like as if we were sitting, having lunch after a class or something like that. So again, a free 90-minute consulting call just based on your department. Now, the third thing, everyone who comes through one of my courses has access to the private Facebook community that's associated with the course. So the Modern Fire Instructor Academy, which was the full online version of this course prior to me redoing it for the boot camp, everyone who's been through that course and who wants to be in the group is already in this private Facebook community. And so it's a great place for you to talk with other instructors that understand all this technology and kind of what they're doing. You can pick their brains and have a networking session back and forth. Now, our fourth bonus is the same thing, but it's the Modern Fire Instructor Sim Builders private Facebook group where we focus just on simulation building. So once you dig into the other course, since you guys are going to get both courses within this session, I'm giving you access to both Facebook groups. So down the road, those groups may end up merging together, but either way, you have access to both of those. So those are huge resources for you to meet with other instructors and just help learn and work on your own professional development. So the course starts on Thursday, August 20th. And the course is going to run every Thursday for 5 weeks. And as I said, the sessions will go about 90 minutes. We're going to start at 11 a.m. Central Time each day. So this course that I've talked about, the Modern Fire Instructor Academy, is normally a $2,000 course, and it includes all the things that we talked about. And then the cost of the bonus items that we mentioned is around $600. So, of course, we're at $2,600 for the cost of this course. We're obviously not going to charge $2,600. I'm trying to, as I mentioned, get as many people access to the course as I can. With COVID and everything going on, I know a lot of departments are struggling, and I feel like this is something we just need to do. We're offering the entire course, all the bonuses, the entire simulation course that we talked about, everything for the entire 5 weeks, guys, for $497. So we're offering the course at a deep discount so that as many people as possible can take advantage of it. The course is going to fill up. We are limited to how many people we can have on the live webinars. So I would recommend that you go ahead and register as soon as possible. You can go to modernfireinstructor.com/bootcamp, and that'll take you right to the page to register. And if you'd like, you can also scan the QR code here with your mobile device using your camera, and it'll take you to the same place. So thank you for watching the video. I'd love to see you in the course. Again, it starts next Thursday, August 20th. If you have any questions, you can reach out to me directly. It's frank@modernfireinstructor.com. Thanks for taking the time to watch the video. Have a great day.